this time or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two.
Welcome, everybody, to Sweet Home Catoosa. I'm your host, Richard Tharpe, and today we've got a special episode. We have three nonprofits that are centered here in Catoosa County that we've been privileged enough to have them come on and talk about all the great things they're doing and explain the things that they do for the community, and more importantly, what we as a community can do to help support them. So I'm going to turn the time over as quickly as possible today since we've got three of you coming on. And I'll start with you, Christy. Introduce yourself and tell everybody what it is that you have and do. And
Well, I'm Christy Lawson, and I'm the director of the Sexual Assault Victims Advocacy Center. That's a lot of words, I know. But we are a nonprofit that serves Walker, Catoosa, and Dade counties. So we serve all three, and we provide services to sexual assault victims and their families. We serve, of course, sexual violence, stalking, human trafficking, and dating violence.
you know, that's one of those things, I guess, that, you know, a lot of folks just don't pay attention to that because it's not something that impacts everybody's lives, but the lives that it does impact,
Right.
it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how long have you been around? How long has this been going on?
Well, our center has been around since in 2008.
Okay.
The Rome Sexual Assault Center opened up an office in Fort Ozark. And then in 2012, we become our own nonprofit.
That's fantastic.
So, you know, it's something that nobody wants to talk about.
It's uncomfortable for people, sure. But I mean, it's something that's so important because, you know, when that type of thing's going on, the support system there is huge to help get them out of that situation. So how would somebody, if they're watching and they're saying, I'm in that situation and I need help, how would they reach out and how would they get hold to get the help they need?
Well, we have good partnerships with law enforcement. We work very closely with law enforcement. So a lot of times, you know, they will send the victim to us or, the hospital. We have a relationship with them as well. What people don't realize is, you know, when someone's been assaulted, those exams do not happen at the ER.
Oh, wow.
And, so they happen at our office. So it's very important that someone that has been assaulted, a victim, knows what services are available to them, because if they don't get the help that they need, then they're left out there all alone. And our center is there to support that victim 100%. We can even assist the victim with reporting to law enforcement. And like I said, those forensic medical exams happen in our office. So it's not in a hospital environment. All of our services are free and confidential. So we don't, you know, there's no charge to the victim. And even if they don't want to report, we can still provide those services.
That's great.
And it's dealing with sexual assault or sexual violence with an adult is, it's difficult and frustrating because if law enforcement doesn't have all of that evidence, even though, say they are admitting, yes, this did happen, the perpetrator admits, if they still have to have all of that evidence, and it's so important for a victim to go ahead and get that forensic medical exam because they're going to collect that evidence at that time. And if they don't have it, it's going to be hard to make charges. And 75% of assaults go unreported.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's frustrating, I guess, at times too, that when you step in to assist and then sometimes they end up going right back into that situation and not, you know, sometimes it takes multiple happenings for them to finally, say, I've had enough. So it's great. So I'll let you keep talking because I think what you're talking about is crucial for some.
And with 75% of assaults going unreported, another statistic that is very alarming is out of 1,000 assaults, 975 perpetrators will walk free.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
975.
That's heartbreaking.
We're there to support that victim and to walk with them through that whole process. And even if they come to us and they don't want to report and we do all the services, we provide that forensic medical exam and we can hold on to that, all of that evidence for up to a year. So if that victim gets 6 months down the road and decides that they do want to report, then we have that evidence that we can turn over to law enforcement. I've seen so many victims not want to report because they just don't want to deal with it. Never mind, I don't want to deal with it. But they are dealing with it and they're doing it by themselves because they're not talking to anyone about it.
I guess counseling is huge in that situation, just letting them talk through that and get them to understand that it's not their fault. Or, a lot of people try to self-blame, well, I'm to blame for this happening, and they're not.
No. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you were wearing. It doesn't matter if you were at a bar drinking or if you were doing drugs. It doesn't matter. If you did not consent, then you did not consent.
Absolutely.
And, so it's so important that victim gets, some services to help them through this. We have a counselor on staff and we provided over 500, I think it was like 580 counseling sessions last year for free.
That's amazing.
So again, even if someone doesn't want to report, of course, that's an adult. When you start talking about children, that's totally different. Those do have to be reported, but we serve children too. So we work closely with the Children's Advocacy Center and, we assist them with medical exams as well. But, as an adult, you have that right to not report if you don't want to, but you can still receive those services.
So sometimes you have somebody and they're in that bad situation and they're scared to say anything, but a family member that's close to them knows what's going on and they want to help. So do you have family members reach out or friends reach out sometime and say, hey, she's in a bad situation and I've tried to talk to her, but she's scared. Mm-hmm. And reach out to y'all. And so if that happens, how do you follow through and try to reach out to that individual? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause, it's not just sometimes the victim. You're in a family member or friend, someone who cares about someone and, you can assist also and say, hey, you could call and say they need help. And I think it's everybody's job also to try to help folks out of that situation because, it's heartbreaking. It has to be heartbreaking every day.
And no matter how many times we go out in the community, and speak and put our brochures out there and our flyers, I still hear, oh, I didn't know we had that in our community.
Yeah.
So
that's why I wanted to, bring you on today because it is important. And I think the more people we can have it might not necessarily be the person's watching today, but if someone that cares and loves forms watching, now they know, hey, there's help out there. Mm-hmm. And that's crucial. The first step to anything is getting help. Mm-hmm. So, it's so amazing that you guys are here to offer that in our community.
And to know what your rights are as a victim too. I mean, it's very, very important to know that, I didn't know I could receive this or, I didn't know that was available in our community. And we've been in Fort Oglethorpe. Our office has been in Fort Oglethorpe since 2008. And I mean, a lot of people didn't know that. You don't know it unless it happens to you.
Right. Exactly. You don't. I think.
And then if you have 75% not reporting, then those people are not getting the help that they need.
Yeah.
And the support that they need.
But you've also got some things tied around it. Talk about your thrift store that you have, Saks Thrift Avenue, because even if you're not a victim, there's ways in the community we can help and put funds into this to help when you have the need, that you have the ability to do that. So talk about that, how that came about.
We have 2 thrift stores. Well, being nonprofit, fundraising is very, very important. We do receive state and federal grants. And those are very challenging. And every year, especially our federal grants, those are getting cut. So we have to do some fundraising. Absolutely. And, our services are 24/7. So we're always available 24/7. And so we have to have money coming in to be able to provide those services 24 hours and 7 days a week. But, so we do have 2 thrift stores. We started with our first one in Trenton because we wanted to bring awareness over there and provide services. So we have a little office over there, and we can do forensic medical exam. We can do everything in that office that we can do in our main office in Port Oglethorpe.
That's right.
But and then just recently this year, we opened Saks Thrift Avenue in Port Oglethorpe, and it's in the 1040 Battlefield Parkway Village South Shopping Center where Soho is. So,
kind of across from the movie theater too, and Chick-fil-A and all that. Now, that's kind of how I find things. People tell me it's across from this or whatever. Okay. The addresses kind of sometimes get me a little bit. So yeah, you're right there, tucked in the corner, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that's great. And, we've taken, my wife's had, things that, and I'm going to tell on her a little bit here, but she's bought and they still have the tags on them, and she just never got to where she wears them. So, we used to go to Goodwill, and so we were like, hey, wait a minute, we need to take them to Saks Thrift Avenue, stay inside our community and do something there. So yes, absolutely. I think that's a great way to give back and help in the community also, is to donate as well.
Yes. So, everything in there is $4 or less. And of course we do sales, and, most of the time you get it for $2. But, it is a good way to give back if you're looking for a place to donate. Or if you want to come and volunteer and help sort through clothing for a few hours a day or something. So yeah, it's been, it's been good. I mean, the community so far has welcomed us and supported us, and it's for it to just be open, I think going on 4 months now. It's doing very well.
That's great. That is fantastic. So, main thing here, if somebody's watching, how do they get a hold of you? How do they get a hold? Is there a phone number? Is there a website? Or both, I'm sure.
So we have both. You can, our website is savacenterga.org.
We'll have Diego, the mastermind behind everything, put that on the bottom of the screen here as well for you folks.
Our social media is Sexual Assault Center Fort Oglethorpe. And then, of course, our main office line is 706-861-0929.
Great. Yeah. And then thank you so much for a much needed thing in the community. So now, and I've heard, so if they're trying to get out of a bad situation and they don't have anywhere to go, you also can provide that as well, right? Yes. A place to stay, try to get back on their feet.
Yes. We, work with our local shelter, or sometimes, we might have to house someone in a hotel for, emergency situations. So we can assist someone with that as well.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times they're like, well, I just don't have anywhere to go. I feel trapped. And that's not the case. You're not trapped. No. You do have somewhere to go. You do have not only the counseling or the help to get you through, but you have a place. So I think that's all important also to understand that, there is a way out, and there's people that want to help you with that. So I hope if you know anyone, or if you're watching and it's you, please reach out and let's get you the help that you need, because nobody needs to stay in that situation.
No. And that, I try to tell people, if you probably know someone, I mean, you don't want to, but you probably do.
Right.
And be, you have children, your mothers, your sisters, your grandma. We've served grandmothers. So we have served from 6 months old to the elderly. And it doesn't matter if you're male, female. We've served males too. So, it's so, I'm grateful that we have something like this in our community.
Absolutely.
Because if I had my sister or my child that needed these services, I would want them to be available. That we do, just grateful that we do have something like that in our community.
Absolutely. And it's just getting awareness and getting the word out there, because I think a lot of times they just don't know where to turn. They don't know their services available. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that, because that's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Coach, it's your turn to tell us about your wonderful nonprofit and what you do for the community as well.
Yeah, I'm Lucetta with Lionhearts Fitness. I'm one of the directors there. My mother's the head director. She's doing well. She helped me make this when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 20 now. So if that's any indication. So yeah, we provide free fitness for all youth in North Georgia and East Tennessee. We've been doing this for a while now. We've served over 1,000 youth. It's like one of the things she was saying. We have a lot of parents coming and they're like, I didn't know you were here.
Sure.
they
awareness. Here we go.
They don't know unless they hear it from like one of our other parents or something like that. So our awareness, we need help with the communities to just let them know we're here for them. So if you're wondering what type of fitness it is, it's not weightlifting. It's not any of that. It's Ninja Warrior, kind of. Okay. So swinging from the rafters, climbing walls.
Sure.
All that fun stuff. We do it. It's all free. A lot of people don't get that. They hear free and they're like, okay, but how much do you want me to donate every month? We're like, if we run by donations, it'd be great, but you don't have to pay. It's all free.
That's fantastic. So where are you located?
So we're at the Gateway Business Mall next to Costco. We're kind of tucked in the corner also. We're next to a pink door with, I think it's roses on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I've got, my kids, especially coming up on summer now, right? And so it's like, I want them to get involved in something. I don't want them sitting at home. And it doesn't have to just be the kids. I mean, I'm sure, there's folks out there, and I'm sure when you say Ninja Warrior thing, if I'm my age, I'm thinking there's no way I can swing from the rafters. I can't hardly get out of bed in the morning, right? So, yeah. But you do offer services for every age, right? I mean, there's lower impact to higher impact, just to get out, whether it's kids needing somewhere to be this summer.
Yeah.
So they stay active, or you're my age or older and you're wanting to stay active for other reasons, but you can't do the high impact.
Yeah.
So talk about all those things you do in between.
So, we accept ages 5 and up. We have our classes. And of course, you brought up summers. We have our summer camps coming up. It's going to be 9 weeks of fun. We'll be at Willow Tree. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's a wedding venue. They've graciously provided their area for us to do our summer camps. One of the things that we love about Lionhearts Fitness is it's a no phone zone.
Oh, that is right.
They cannot have their phones. They cannot have any electronics. We'll be out there all day fishing, hiking, learning about animal husbandry, all this fun stuff. And a lot of the kids even forget their phones at the end. They come driving back while we're packing up. They're like, we forgot our phones. And we're like, oh.
That's a nice change, right?
It's like, yeah. So, you're talking about adults. Yeah, we do have a lot of people come in. They're like, I don't know if I can do any of this right now. I have, shoulder issues or anything like that. And we work with them. They come in. When they first start, they might not be able to do a monkey bar or even just hold on to a bar. By the time that they've come a few times, because it's all about consistency, just coming in and trying and redoing it, just learning muscle memory. by the time we get them to racing and stuff, they can do monkey bars, rings, stuff like that. And we've had a lot of success. Stories come out of our facility. Of course, we got a few kids that come in, they're like, not for me.
Sure.
But then we got a lot of kids that come in and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is fun.
But you also have families in the community, they would like to have their kids in something like that, but they're financially challenged, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, I'd love to put a child in a camp this summer or have them go into a program like that, but financially, I'm just not in a situation right now to do that. And that's why you're so important, because there is an outlet. There is a way for their kids to participate in these types of things and not have that financial burden put on them. So I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, we get a lot of those also. They come in and they're like, I don't know if I can pay for this. And we're like, it's free.
Yeah.
And then, of course, their eyebrows go up and they're like, what? And we're like, yeah, it's free. This is all free. It's all been provided by the community. Everything from the paint on our walls, the tacks on the walls was donated. So
that's amazing. So now, if you are in a position to help and donate, so how do you go about taking donations, or what do you do there too?
So, you can go on our website, and that's lionheartsfitness.com. There's a place like at the very top that says sponsor a child. You just click on that and there you go.
Oh, that's fantastic too. Because there's, a lot of folks, that are able would love to give to all your nonprofits, because everything you do is so impactful in our community. So I think that's a great way too. And you may be watching and say, I need those services, but you also may be watching and say, hey, I don't have kids or anything like that, but I want to help those kids, because when I was a kid, I wish somebody to help me that way, because I couldn't participate in things because our family wasn't in a situation where they could do that. So I think it's important to give, if you can, to help those less fortunate that just need these things, because that's huge also.
Yeah, we've outgrown our facility. It's 7,000 feet of obstacles and a lot of fun stuff for the kids, and we're just trying to expand right now. So donations are very helpful at the moment.
Yeah. To outgrow 7,000 square feet, that's amazing.
Yeah, we have served over 1,000 youth already. And, tomorrow, I'll probably have 30 in our homeschool class and around 20 in our night class. We've been doing well. I love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces and them accomplishing obstacles that nobody ever thought they could accomplish.
Yeah. And so you just touched on something I think it's great. So there's a lot of children in our community that are homeschooled. Mm-hmm. And so that interaction, going out with other kids and, playing and doing those types of things, they don't have that on a day-to-day basis, and their families they want them to have that. So this is a great outlet where they can have that as well and still stay at home and be schooled in an environment the parents choose to put them in. So I think that's huge as well.
Yeah. So we have a great homeschool community. We've been working with the homeschools and Chia and all that fun stuff. We'll be at the Chia Field Day. We'll have our little rig set up over there. But our homeschool class has grown tremendously. We have a lot of teenagers. We got a lot of kids coming in. One of the great things that we like about our summer camps is that the teenagers can come in and mentor our little ones, our kids. And by doing so, they get letters of referral, letter of recommendation and stuff like that for when they're applying for jobs. Because a lot of jobs and areas love seeing that someone gave up their summer to help people. And
absolutely.
Didn't expect anything in return.
Looks good on a college resume as well.
No, very much so.
Hey, there's always a bonus there. My wife and I remember we started watching American Ninja Warrior years ago when it first came out.
Yeah.
And like everybody else, it was pretty fascinating, but it has grown so much. Now when you watch the show, you've got people competing on there that said, when I was 8 years old, I started watching, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, it's gone on that long. But it's caught fire, and it's amazing what these folks can do. And so to have a place to go to do that as well, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we've had a lot of our kids, even though we're not a competitive team at all, they've qualified for the Spartan Kids World Championships. That was in China this year, but we don't have the funds to go.
Sure.
It's just, we're not feeling like that's the best opportunity right now, but we've had around 9 of our young athletes qualify for that
That's great.
I myself have qualified for a lot of these other races like Morzine, France, Abu Dhabi, pretty much everywhere, Lake Tahoe. But we've also done a lot of Spartan mashups. They have mashups for Spartan goes in with the UNAA, so Ninja World Championships, and they provide a 3K. So that's probably like 1.6 miles of running and obstacles. And we went down to that one in Florida last year, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
we had a great time there. The kids loved it. But yeah, we've done really well. I'm so happy with what we've accomplished this far and can't wait to see what we accomplish later on in the future. Like I said, one of the big things that we struggle with is getting it out into the community. So
Absolutely.
if anybody has any way to help us, please reach out. You can reach us at Linehorse Fitness, like I said. There's also our phone number, 423-521-2940. If you have any questions about our classes, if you want to get into more details about that, please reach out. We'll happy to answer any questions you have. We just hope we can reach a big audience of our community and let them know that we're available for them and that we're here.
That's great. No, that's fantastic. Yeah. So thanks for coming on and sharing that today, because here again, putting the awareness out there is the key, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's somebody sitting there right now going, oh my goodness, that sounds like something I'm going to participate in.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Hopefully you'll have a large response. We can continue to push it forward.
Yeah. That's what we've been praying for, hoping, we're going to have a large response from this, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with everything.
Sure. No.
And it's just God working.
It is. That's one thing about what I love with Catoosa County, especially because this is where I live. Our community gives back so much. We've got some individuals in this community that they just give. And that's what makes it so great. I think we have a beautiful county and community because of the citizens we have here that do so much for us and give back, because, we've all been in a bad situation in our lives in some way or fashion, right? And as we get older and we get the opportunity, we want to give back to try to help those that might be in that similar situation that we were in. And that's what we do in the county as a whole. I see that every day. There's folks that give back to everything they can because they've been blessed. And so that's that. Pay it forward, pay it back. And I see it every day. So thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Penny, bring us home.
All
Tell
right.
us all about communities in school.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to do this. I know these guys, we've been around for 25 years, and still I find people don't really know about us or really understand everything we do. So this is a great opportunity. And I'm also so thankful that I'm in Catoosa County, because I've never lived somewhere that is so giving. If we have a student need and we put it out there, it's met. So I'm so thankful to be in Catoosa County. So we are a part of a national organization, Communities in Schools. And they're in a lot of the states in the United States. And, Communities in Schools is probably the most, well-known dropout prevention, nonprofit in the United States. And we are an affiliate of that. And like I said, 25 years ago, some brave person started it in Catoosa County in partnership with the schools. And we serve families and children from pregnancy all the way up to the graduation stage. So we have a lot going on. We kind of have two sides of the house. We have a program called Parents as Teachers, and we call it PAT for short. And PAT is an in-home visitation program for families with children 5 and under. And really the goal of Parents as Teachers is to make sure we strengthen our families, we strengthen our parents, and we make sure our kids are ready for kindergarten. They're ready to go. That program runs from very low risk situations. I think when I was a young mom and I had my first child, I would have been a great candidate for PAT. I moved to a new city. I didn't have a network. And so I would love to have had, a PAT educator come in my home once or twice a month just to encourage me. Parenting is hard.
Sure.
And so But then we are funded by state level, DFACs. And so, we get referrals from DFACs. And in 2023, we had about 87. Alone. Now we take referrals from hospitals, from nurses, labor and delivery, from our school system, of course. I mean, there's a lot of places we get referrals, but the parent educators that go into the home once or twice a month, and they just work with the parents and teach them about child development. So you understand your baby's not maybe crying because they're a brat, but they're crying because they're going through an attachment stage, and that's normal. And that's good for parents to hear. And just talk about, ways for discipline to be positive. And one of the cornerstones of parents as teachers is reading. So every time we come, we try to bring a book so that we can build a library for our parents. And, we also, get a lot of teen moms. So our school system, they try to let us know when they find out that a girl is expecting, because teen moms are, the statistics show they're way more likely to drop out of school because of pregnancy. So we wrap around them in two ways. We teach them parenting through parents as teachers, but also we have them at the high school in our program to make sure they graduate. So I love parents as teachers. I was a social worker, and parents as teachers is considered a huge preventative against child abuse and neglect.
Yes.
Just teaching parents. I mean, not every person had a great example of what it was to be a parent, but everyone deserves the chance to be a good parent, and every child deserves a chance to have a good parent. And so that's really at the heart what Parents as Teachers does. And then we move on to our schools, and currently we're in 5 schools. We're in Cloud Springs, we're in Westside, we're in Lakeview Middle School, we're in Lakeview Thorpe High School, and we're in Ringgold High School. And this fall, we're going to be going into Tiger Creek. We're very excited to add another school. In elementary school, we look a little different than middle and high school. They can't come to us in elementary school, so we come to them. So our site coordinators take on a caseload that is built by the school and guidance counselors, teachers, and they're considered at risk. And so we take about 10% of the school's population, and people refer them to us because of the ABCs, attendance, behavior, and coursework. That's the old way of saying grades. And we take them onto our caseload, and we make a plan for each student, how to help them. So, like, for example, at LFO High School, there's a population of 1,000. So our site coordinator there has 100 kids on our caseload. And we kind of varying degrees of levels that we use to know like what they need. So we have 3. Our first level might be just someone that we know we need to talk about basic needs with. And that's something we offer in our program in total. We have a food pantry, clothing closet, hygiene closet, all of the basic needs. We have a washer and dryer at LFO for the kids, and anything we can do, on the basic needs side to help them, because when you come to school hungry or you come to school sleepy because you didn't have a bed to sleep in, it's hard to learn. And so,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, and especially as you get older, right? High school is a real good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
A washer and a dryer. So who would ever think, right? That's something, but it is, because if that's not in the home or it's been broke and they don't have the money to fix it, and then they have, this self-conscious, like, oh my goodness, I've wore this 3 times now and I haven't been able to wash it. And then maybe it's got a stain it's just something as simple as that. That's amazing that you guys offer that.
And I don't think people realize, in Catoosa County, we have a homeless student program called McKinney-Vento. We have over 120 kids that are considered homeless. And that's not always living in your car or living under a bridge like you might think. It's students, many, that go house to house. They just kind of couch surf. And so those kids are definitely first on our caseload, and also foster care kids. We identify those because we know that they need support.
Sure.
So we do a lot of basic needs, but my favorite thing is that we live inside the schools. And so we provide this constant person inside the school day that they can come to, and they are a caring and stable adult for that kid. And so anytime I go to LFO to sub out for Allie, they love her so much, and they're like, they kind of look at me like, oh, where's Miss Allie? Because they love her and they get attached to them. And it's a constant flow. I've been up there sitting for 10 minutes and no less than 6 students.
Wow.
Miss Allie, I need to talk to you about this. Miss Allie, I need this. Miss Allie, I got to tell you what happened last night at my grandmother's house. It's always something. And we just try to support them any way we can. We provide mental health groups. We teach them life skills. Recently we had a cooking class. We worked with LFO culinary chef up there that teaches. They're wonderful. And, we had our parents come or guardians or whoever the kid has, and they cook together and they learn. But we know a lot of our kids may at this point be living independently because of their situation. So we try to teach as many life skills, finances, we do cooking, sewing. Sometimes we do a lot of art, therapy kind of stuff because we do have artists on staff. We have our staff members have different talents. And so I just ask them to bring that to their job. Our LMS site coordinator is a gardener. So we have a beautiful garden at LMS. It's called the Giving Garden, and the kids learn how to grow their own food.
Wow.
Which is amazing, for them to get that skill. And many of them have gone home and planted their own gardens. And that's a learning experience, but that's also a way to be self-sufficient.
It's a little therapeutic as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, you plant something and you watch something you did grow into it. So yeah, that's just amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
And we're partners with the school system totally. We wouldn't function without them. And so they really work along. We're part of the team for a child. And so, there might be meetings that we're involved in, our PBIS, behavioral meetings, or when a child is special education, we might be in those. And it's just a team approach to making sure that each kid gets to the next grade and each kid goes across the graduation stage, which this is what we're doing right now. This is the final push right now to get them across, the stage. And we literally work with them till the day before graduation sometimes,
wow,
making sure we get everything turned in because we want them to graduate.
Definitely. So my wife and I were at the event you had last year, and to hear some of those children get up and tell their stories, it was so touching, because they were lost. They just didn't have a way and they didn't see a way. And then they talked about how communities in school came and embraced them, wrapped their arms around them and showed them how to get through this and show them that there's just so much more to this and we'll help you get there. And it was just amazing. So how do you do fundraisers? So let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, there's many ways you can help us. We do fundraisers. We do 3 a year. We do the Duck Derby. Everybody's heard of us for that.
Absolutely.
And we do a grad run. We just had that a couple months ago, with Builtwell Bank. And then we do the dinner that you came to every year. And those are wonderful events. And those are our 3 standard. You can look for those every year and they're all fun to be a part of. I enjoy them. But also there's other ways that you can help us. We have a food pantry and you'd be surprised how much goes in and out of that. And we serve the whole school system with our basic needs. So not just the schools we're in. Any school in Catoosa County can call us and they can say, I have a kid that needs food. I know that this weekend's going to be rough and mom doesn't have enough money to make it. We can get it to the school. Clothes, the mattresses a lot of times. If we find out a kid's sleeping on the floor, there's just no reason for that in Catoosa County.
Sure.
So we will buy a twin mattress, or bedding and things like that. But any of those things, your clothes that maybe you clean out of your kid's closet, we'd love to have those. Cause we have from little babies and parents as teachers all the way up to high school seniors. So any of those kind of clothes, our clothing closet turns a lot. So we'd love to have those. Currently the chamber leadership is doing a drive for us for shoes. We always need shoes because that's something we cannot get donated and really be in good shape. You just
sure.
It's hard.
And I can remember as a kid, we go through shoes like crazy as a kid, right?
Yep. So shoes are wonderful, hygiene products. We also take up prom dresses year round because we give our girls and guys prom dresses and suits. And we given out 80, 90 this year. prom dresses, suits, and Ringgold and LFO. We've given out so many. And we also do a prom day. I just did that this weekend at Ringgold, but we have volunteers called the God's Glam Squad come in, and they give the girls the treatment just like any girl would want: the nails, the hair, manicure, pedicure, makeup, everything. The guys too come in. They have a lady that volunteers and she can do the barber stuff for the guys. And it's wonderful because we get to be like, you look beautiful. And they don't always hear that. And that's one of my favorite days to work, to get to do that. I love it. But you can give your prom dresses, your suits. And I guess one of the most important things that I like to talk about is mentoring. We do have a mentor program in Catoosa County Public Schools, and we have 100 kids on our caseload. But for a kid to have a mentor, to have someone for them, is priceless. 2 years ago, I decided to mentor a kid, and I wasn't sure how it would go because I'm old and not hip. And so I said, "Hey, I kind of want to mentor you. What do you think?" And she lit up like Christmas. And so she's graduating this year. I'm sad, but it's the goal.
Sure.
But, and I think people are a little overwhelmed by mentoring because of the time and the commitment, but it's really not. I do it once a week on my lunch break. I have to eat lunch. So does she. So we get some chicken nugs and we talk. And we need mentors in the schools. COVID brought our mentors down, and we're trying to build them back up. And so that for a kid, especially one of our kids, is priceless. Just to have someone to mostly you don't even have to know about stuff that they know about if you'll just listen. And they love it. And we need people to sign up to be mentors for our kids for sure. So there's so many things you can do, even if you don't say, I don't have the money. And I understand that, but that happens, but you can give, your time. And
Absolutely.
That's priceless.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Incredible. So, if I'm somebody watching and I've got a prom dress or a tux or basic needs or any of these things that you talked about, how do I get a hold of you? How do we get these things to you?
Okay. We have a website called CISCatoosa.org. And not only can you donate to us or let us know you have a donation or you want to do a drive at your organization or your church, you can also get help there. There's a button called Need Help, and you can contact us and let us know that you have a student in the schools and you need some help. And that's a way to reach us as well. And if you decide to donate clothes, you can drop them off at LFO High School. That's where our main clothing closet is. And then we kind of disperse it from there to the elementary schools and the middle schools according to sizes. So you can always drop it off at the front office. They're not going to be surprised because they get CIS donations all the time, and they're in the front. We're in the back of the building in our student center, and they'll get them to us.
But I think like with Christy, it may not necessarily be you or your child or whatever the case, but you may know somebody. You know of a situation that's going on and you just haven't been able to figure out how to help. Well, now you know there is help there. So now you know where to reach out so you can get that child the help they need. So that's tremendous. Listen, what a great episode. This is why I started Sweet Home Catoosa, because there's so much in our communities that need to be talked about to help, because there's a lot of great things that happen in our community. There's a lot of opportunities in our community that need to be addressed as well that people either don't like talking about or they don't know about, or great things that just enhance what's already going on. So, spreading it out there and getting it in the community is exactly what we needed. And that was the reason for this podcast. So I've been anxiously awaiting this episode because you three are exactly what makes Catoosa so great, but it's also something that's desperately needed to be talked about in our communities, to where we can take care of some obvious needs and concerns to push our community forward. So I want to thank each of you for coming on and taking time today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Please, I hope if you know of a need or an opportunity, please reach out to these three and help somebody if you can. So thank you for your time today. Until next time, have a great week, Catoosa.
You and I, as one will always be better than